I used to think Bu was the bravest man who ever lived. Fearless, unstoppable, a symbol of raw courage. But on this New Year's Eve, I realized I was wrong. Someone even braver appeared. Not on a battlefield, not in history books, but right here, in the streets, under flashing police lights and exploding fireworks. So who is this person? Dear friends and viewers, there will be no cross-country activities at Treasure Farm tonight. Please do not gather. Leave immediately. Please do not gather. Go home and rest. This was the sound of New Year's Eve in China. Not laughter, not countdowns, not cheers, but warnings, commands, and loudspeakers repeating the same sentence over and over again. No celebrations, no gatherings, no joy. And yet, look at this year's New Year's Eve atmosphere. Doesn't it feel strange, cold, suppressed? Many people said they felt an invisible force hanging over the city, as if something was actively stopping people from being happy. Do you feel it too? This New Year's Eve didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like restraint. Thank you for your cooperation. There are no activities this year, no emergency services. Please return to your positions. I can't go there. Sorry, you can't go here. No one knows what happened. Then suddenly, fireworks, explosions in the sky, flames still burning, firecrackers still going off. In Changhui, the night lit up despite everything. Police rushed in, someone was caught, and a voice shouted in disbelief, "Bro, you're too brave. You're really too brave." On New Year's Eve, major cities across China entered a state of high alert. Celebrations were canceled almost everywhere. Police and security forces were deployed in huge numbers at locations where people traditionally gathered. Fireworks and firecrackers were officially banned nationwide. But no matter how strict the rules became, they couldn't extinguish people's desire to celebrate. Police chased fireworks through streets and alleys. The scenes on the ground grew chaotic. Netizens later called it revenge fireworks, saying this year's New Year's Eve was even louder and wilder than the Spring Festival itself. Many people were blocked and dispersed, turning what should have been a joyful night into something tense and hollow. Still, voices kept shouting, "Why aren't we allowed to set off fireworks? This New Year's Eve, I must set them off. Come on, come on." Many New Year's events were canceled just one day before, under what was described as fairness. If Christmas couldn't be celebrated, then New Year's Eve shouldn't be either. Some even suggested that there was nothing worth celebrating in at all this year. People complained online that they had bought Christmas gifts and didn't even know where to put them anymore. As 2026 approached, official notices cited force majeure to cancel large-scale New Year's Eve events. But when the night actually came, people still gathered. Quietly, spontaneously, stubbornly. Videos showed heavy police mobilization across Beijing, Shanghai, Shijiazhuang, Hangzhou, Zhengzhou, Chongqing, Qingdao, and more. In some cities, armed special police were deployed. Roads were blocked. Subways were restricted. Public squares were sealed off. Netizens commented that this strange year would be permanently recorded in history, an era where even happiness required permission. In Beijing's Wangfujing Street, people still tried to welcome the new year. A witness said the crowd was much smaller than before, and the festive atmosphere was almost gone. In Shanghai, residents said people did come out, but the excitement of past years had vanished. Then came the countdowns. Chaotic, out of sync, shouted through phones and shaky live streams. 10, 9, wait, 11, 12, 13, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Stress filled the air. Police checked again and again. People moved, stopped, turned back, chased, retreated. Someone said, "Don't suppress it, brother." Another replied, I checked again and again. And then, "I'll try to catch him. I'm falling back." This was New Year's Eve, not in celebration, but in confrontation. Not joy, but tension. And that's why people said the bravest man this year wasn't Bu. It was the ordinary person who still dared to light a firework, shout a countdown, and insist just once on feeling alive. The Chinese people are waking up, And China is standing on the edge of a historic transformation. As 2026 approaches, something subtle yet profound is happening inside Chinese society. On the surface, daily life appears unchanged. People go to work, shops remain open, traffic still flows. But beneath this calm exterior, a silent shift is underway. Awareness is rising, long-suppressed emotions are gathering momentum, and once consciousness awakens, it rarely returns to sleep. For decades, silence was a survival instinct. Many people learned that keeping their heads down was the safest option. But when even the most basic hopes, stable dims, affordable housing, fair treatment, are repeatedly crushed, silence begins to feel heavier than risk. People start asking questions, and more importantly, they start asking them out loud. Unemployment, failed rights petitions, unpaid wages. These experiences have pushed many from endurance to expression. What's new is not just the anger, but the method. Beyond banners and slogans, people have begun projecting messages onto skyscrapers, bridge piers, and utility poles. The so-called bridge pier revolution and telephone pole revolution are not organized movements. They are symptoms, signals, proof that frustration has spilled from the internet into physical space. One blogger put it bluntly, they keep shouting that China is far ahead, yelling for Tesla, German cars, and Japanese brands to get out. But think about this. If they all left, could you even afford a domestic car? Without Apple, would you afford a so-called cutting-edge phone? Without Adidas or Nike, could you still buy decent shoes? He continued, if foreign oil companies were allowed to compete freely, fuel prices might drop to one-third. If foreign telecom companies entered the market, phone bills might be cut in half. The real pressure on Chinese people isn't from foreign companies. It's from the lack of competition. Then came the most devastating line. I'm poor. Not having children is being responsible. If I had kids, I'd only pass on poverty and pressure. That would be selfish. Asked what contribution he makes to society, he answered, I'm already poor. Not causing trouble is my biggest contribution. Clear-headed, unswayed, impossible to manipulate with old narratives. This clarity is also reshaping how people view patriotism. Does not watching a movie make you unpatriotic? The blogger asked. Does watching it make you patriotic? True patriotism is improving the lives of your family, not attacking your neighbor. He criticized what he called pseudo-patriotism, using labels to shame others while gaining moral superiority. Loud, emotional, and ultimately hollow. That hollowness becomes obvious when looking at public spending. The blogger pointed out that charities linked to China have spent hundreds of millions of dollars providing meals to children in Myanmar, Ethiopia, Uganda, and other countries. Officials say this boosts international influence. But the question many now ask is simple. What about children in poor mountainous areas of Yunnan, Guizhou, and Sichuan? Are they eating well? If domestic children are still hungry, then spending billions abroad is not generosity. It's face-saving. He reminded viewers that much of this funding comes from public donations, not unlimited state wealth. Hard work doesn't make you rich, he said. If it did, farmers in their 60s and 70s would all be wealthy. Hard work only keeps you alive. It doesn't give you leverage. The same logic applies to monopolized markets. In China's refined oil sector, prices rise even when global prices fall. They raise prices, dilute quality, claim losses, and still block anyone else from entering. What are they afraid of? Competition? On consumer brands, he shared a personal story about smartphones. After years of changing domestic phones annually due to lag, he switched to an iPhone and used it smoothly for nearly 4 years. We're told domestic brands are national pride. But to them, consumers are just easy targets. This imbalance, he argued, creates a system where 95% of society supports the comfort of the remaining 5%. Cheap labor enables instant delivery and convenience unimaginable in Western countries. But at what cost? Patriotism, he warned, is now being weaponized to justify price hikes. When foreign brands left during past controversies, domestic brands raised prices overnight. Same materials, higher costs. Hoodies tripled in price. Instant noodles doubled. Phones once affordable now start at premium levels. With competition gone, restraint disappears. By 2025, public expression in China had clearly crossed a line. From screens to streets. From Chengdu bridges to Chongqing projections. From toilet doors in Beijing to slogans on utility poles, the message repeated, the party is not the people. After the fourth plenum of the 20th Central Committee, anti-party and anti-Xi Jinping slogans reportedly increased. According to insiders, these acts are now viewed as political risk signals, enough to trigger anxiety at the highest levels of the Chinese Communist Party. History shows one thing clearly. When ordinary people stop pretending, when fear no longer outweighs dignity, transformation is no longer a question of if, but when. And China quietly is approaching that moment.